Hi everyone, I thought I would start a reading vlog because it's been a little while and I haven't done a reading vlog for the month of March yet. So we're gonna start one. The weather has been really odd, been very cold, and today it's quite a bit drizzly and not very spring-like. So I thought we would start a reading vlog. I'm going to redo my bookshelf today, or all of the bookshelves maybe. I have a haircut later for all of this, so I don't know if I'll finish it, but I'm gonna start. I need to clean this all up. I'm thinking of putting all tiny books up here and getting some brighter books on here. There's no rhyme or reason to how I do this, so I'm gonna do it however I want. I just finished a book this morning. I'm doing a reread of My Brilliant Friend, and I'm thinking of doing a reread of Annihilation, and that be the focus of this vlog, and maybe also start The Last Supper by Rachel Cusk. So I'm gonna go grab those. All right. Annihilation and The Last Supper. I've gone on a Cusk kick and I've bought tons of Cusk books the last few weeks. So, but yeah, I think these are the two I'm going to focus on. This one might just be something I'm reading during this vlog, but I won't necessarily finish. Okay, so I think the plan is going to read this, not finish, because I want to take my time with it. I'm still reading this just because I wanted to reread and I was in the mood for something kind of comforting, which I guess you could call My Brilliant Friend comforting. I'm watching the show again too, just because I have some time. And I think the main focus of this vlog is going to be Annihilation, because I've been dying to do a reread, and I read it 3 years ago at the very start of lockdown, and I'm just feeling a lot of feelings, and I kind of just want to explore that and reread it and think about some things. So this should be a fun vlog. Italy, Area X. I bought these really beautiful hyacinths yesterday at the grocery store, and they were all closed and now they're opening, and they're just really, really pretty. And I had these little carnations left over from another bouquet. But yeah, they're so cute and springy. I'm gonna redo the bookshelf now, a little bit. He has a haircut tomorrow and I have a haircut today, and we're all gonna get nice. Ooh, and lead our lives together. Okay, I still need to clean up some of the stuff that's on the floor, but I love having all of the tiny books up top a lot. It looks really good. I think I got it the way I kind of want it. I don't know. I like it though. And then still finishing up this. I like it. It's a little bit brighter. Moving all of the tinies up top made a lot of room. Now I've got to find places for that. Hi everyone, it's Friday and I'm trying to get some work done, but then I realized that yesterday I did not do a breakdown of the books that I'm reading. Like, I didn't tell you anything about them. I figured I would come on now and kind of give a little brief synopsis of each. The main focus of this is going to be Annihilation, so I'll definitely be doing updates. I did get a little bit of reading of that done this morning. Might just give like a brief little something about that. Also, if you're enjoying this vlog so far, if you give it a like, that'd be awesome. Vlogs are really fun to make, and it's really appreciated when you like them and enjoy them. So yeah, give this a thumbs up. Thank you. So The Last Supper by Rachel Cusk. This is about her 3 months in the summer going to Italy with her family. She takes her 2 young daughters at the time out of school, and from what I understand, there is no plan for this trip. She doesn't know why they're going, what they're going for. All she knows is that she needs to get out of where she is, and she figures that by doing this, it will open up something, and just seeking out beauty and art is just the path that she feels she needs to go down in order to get unstuck. It seems like it's very much what I've heard, like
a travel memoir, but in like a Cusk way. But this is the one I've been the most excited about. I'm just in the mood for nonfiction and more art, and I think this will be great. And also I'm reading My Brilliant Friend. I'm doing a reread of this and it's also set in Italy, and I guess I'm just kind of in a mood. We follow two girls, Lenu and Lila. They're living in Naples. They are both incredibly intelligent, and Lenu is able to pursue her education past elementary school, and Lila is told by her family, like, you will not continue your education, you will start working in our shoe shop. So she does, and we get to see the relationship. A lot of people label them as frenemies, and I do not like that, because they are definitely their souls are connected. They have a deep friendship. It is one that is not perfect. It is extremely flawed. They do things to each other that, even as children, that is very painful. But what I really love about this one, even though I don't typically enjoy children narrators, this one is Lenu reflecting back on her childhood with Lila, and she is telling us the story of their relationship and their growing up and what that was like, and what each of them was able to pursue, and how that kind of shaped and formed both of them and their perspectives on the world and their relation to each other. Just struck by how much of the third and fourth novels are reflected so much in just what happens in this first novel, and how important the things that happen in childhood carry into their adult lives. And yeah, it's incredible. The one that is the focus of this is Annihilation. I am doing a reread, and I went through my phone this morning to see when I started reading this back in March of 2020. And the exact day that I started reading this was on March 17th, 2020, and it is March 17th, 2023. It was the first few days of lockdown when I started this. And I remember I found the photo. I took a photo of an excerpt that I underlined, and it's the exact same excerpt that I underlined today. When you see beauty in desolation, it changes something inside you. Desolation tries to colonize you. Yeah, and I went into my husband's room, and I was like, I started reading this exactly 3 years ago, and just how different life looks, and it's just, there's a lot to reflect on. So you're with this organization called the Southern Reach, and they're the ones kind of investigating this area called Area X that just kind of popped out of nowhere, and they keep sending expeditions into it. Area X has taken over. We're meant to kind of believe that it's Florida just based off of where VanderMeer lives, and the overall descriptions of the environment and the flora and fauna that are there. There's 4 women that are sent in, anthropologists, surveyor, psychologist, and then the biologist, who is our narrator. All of them are unnamed. They just go by the role in which they play. And there they are saying that the area is, there are homes that have been destroyed by nature. There is no human life. There's just animal life and non-human life. But you can see that there was human life. And yeah, I just read the first chapter this morning, so I'm only about 40 pages in. And the first chapter is just a really wonderful setup of really bizarre things. They find this tower. It's really a tunnel, but the biologist wants to call it a tower, because even though it's going down, it just feels like you're going towards something. She describes everything in really interesting ways, and they're writing, I've talked about this in another video, but they're writing in journals because they're not allowed to bring any technology. They cannot bring compasses. They are only allowed to document things in journals. So they are told to keep highly detailed journals in case something happens and the next exhibition has to go in. They at least have these journals that will contain the information they need. They shouldn't talk to each other about what they're writing in their journals, because they don't want to sway each other or change what they're viewing or seeing or experiencing or what they are studying to be compromised. So we're getting everything through the biologist, which I love. This book has a lot of qualities of Paradise Rot by Jenny Hval, and also in an unsettling environment. It's a highly environmental book. If you want environment as character, those 2 books are great. And then also another book that I think has a similar feel, and it being just an unknown thing, entity, place, doesn't really matter, just an unknowing thing, would be the Employees by Olga Ravin, and I'll link both of those below. So, thanks, I will see you later. Happy Saturday, everyone. I've done a ton of reading. I did a little bit of reading yesterday and then I got a little sleepy. But I did run over to Brazos, which is one of my favorite bookstores here, and I picked up a few things yesterday, but then also I went back today because my friend brought me some ARCs that I've been kind of eyeing and wanted me to have some. So I'm going to show you what I got. Also, this is my first wash after my haircut. I cut only an inch off of my hair, which is incredibly, my hair was really long and I only cut an inch. But because it's really curly today, it looks really short and I'm very weirded out by it. But, and it's still trying to dry, so it's going to get bigger, which is terrifying. All right, got them in here. So the one I'm really excited about is the Biography of X by Catherine Lacey. I've seen a lot of great things about this book, and I know Rebecca Eats Books just did a video on it, and it made me really excited to read it. That this involves art, and it's kind of got a little bit of a Handmaid's Tale vibe, so that's going to be really interesting. And then these next two I know absolutely nothing about, except that she gave them to me, and I kind of flipped through them, and they seem really interesting. Tell Me I'm an Artist. But it seems like a pretty quick read. And then the last book, which this one seems really exciting. I feel like I've seen it around, and because I recognize this cover, and flipping through it, I kind of want to pick this up a little bit sooner rather than later, only because it does have art throughout, which is really exciting for me. I love a book that has actual pieces of art. Yeah, she brought me all three kind of art-focused books, and I'm very excited. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you think, and if you think I should pick up one before the other once I get through the books that I'm currently reading. Hi everyone, it's Monday and I wanted to do a quick update. I did do quite a bit of reading yesterday. It was one of those lazy Sundays that we hadn't had in a really long time, and I wasn't feeling very great, so we just hung out on the couch, read all day, made some soup, and I rewatched Annihilation. I watched it 3 years ago after the first time that I read the book, and I enjoyed the movie, and then rewatching it yesterday, I didn't really care for it that much. I mean, it's very different from the book. So if you've ever read the book and watched the movie, like, they're very different. It's just, it was really more focused on like horror and body horror than I realized, or I guess just like the horror aspect of everything. And I just feel like that's not really the vibe of this or what VanderMeer was trying to do. I mean, it can be interpreted in multiple ways, but it's just not really what I want. Like, I just see this book as something so different, and there are multiple interpretations of it. And the ones that were presented in the film just didn't really click for me in that way. Also, the visuals in it were really amazing the first time I watched it, and then upon the rewatch, I was like, oh, I just had The Last of Us, and that did such a great job with its visuals, so I kind of compared it a bit to that. I don't remember where I left off with my update on this. The biologist and everyone on the expedition finds like this tunnel going down, and the biologist sees it as a tower going up. She describes it as like this spiral winding down, but she feels that she is going towards something when she's going down it. And we encounter these vine-like fungus, alive, breathing words on the walls. And that's not in the movie at all, and it drives me crazy because it's such a cool and important aspect of the book. And she's following these words, and she's sprayed in the face by some spores. And also, I don't want to get into any more details about it, but she soon realizes that the psychologist is capable of much darker things as well, which happens to some of the other women on the expedition. And yeah, I'm very far. Like, I'm probably going to finish it up tomorrow. I'm already at the lighthouse and all the things that happened there. And this book is just so fantastic. I read it right at the start of lockdown, and I just remember the environment of it and the way it felt. The biologist goes on the journey to the lighthouse by herself, and just the way that journey is written, her going through this forest, this woods, this swamp, this nature around her, and all the sounds that she hears that are human and animal like. And I just remember when I was reading it, like rereading it now, I feel like I was in a haze when I first read it 3 years ago. I don't know if it was just because of the news and the pandemic and everything, but I feel like so many things are gone from my mind of reading it, and rereading it, I'm just like, wow. And I just remember going on all of these really long walks the first few days of lockdown, or first few weeks really, but when I was reading it, it was the first few days. And just the way that VanderMeer writes about this all-encompassing natural element, it's just really stunning. And I was just reminded of why this book is so important and special to me, is because I read it at a time when things felt so bizarre and weird, but we were going through a seasonal transition. We were on the cusp of spring. And okay, I'm back. Yeah, as like a reread, this has been fantastic. It's like the uncertainty of everything that was happening, and just the uncertainty that the biologist is feeling in this environment that she just doesn't understand, and these things that she can't quite explain that are happening, and the mystery that she's trying to put together. Well, once I finish it, I'll do kind of a better little doodad, getting different things out of it this time around than I did the first time. The feelings I had around it the first time around are very unique and special and can't really be replaced, but they're definitely influencing this reading and just a reflecting. And hi everyone, it's Tuesday, and I realized that my update yesterday was all over the place. No, I was just like, I wasn't grasping the words I wanted for explaining this book very well. And I finished it this morning with my coffee, and I'm just absolutely blown away by it. And I honestly, there was so much I wanted to say about it, and so much I wanted to say about the plot, and I just can't explain it. I wrote a little something on Instagram being like, pick this book up. I know so many people think that it's a sci-fi novel. It is, but it also isn't. If you're a fan of literary fiction, I 100% say you should pick this up. The sentences are absolutely stunning. It's got DWM vibes, but in a really different and unique way. I'm only saying that because I feel like there's a lot of people, and I could be wrong, but I feel like so many people don't give this book a shot because they think it's science fiction. And there's nothing wrong with science fiction. I think science fiction is great. I enjoy some science fiction. But for people who maybe are averse to picking this up because it is kind of labeled that, I definitely just say pick this up. It is one of the most well-written novels I've ever read. VanderMeer is doing so many things so well. He is creating a mystery. He's giving you these gorgeous sentences that are full of atmosphere. He is giving you an unreliable narrator, and you're very much in her head reading her journal as she journeys through Area X, trying to get to this lighthouse. There is a mystery around her motivations for this, which are fairly clear in the beginning, but do sort of show themselves a little more clearly towards the end, and her realizations that she makes between her and her husband. It is scary. There are parts that are definitely horror, but they're done in such a way where VanderMeer is giving you a lot of the descriptions, but you are left drawing so many of your own conclusions and painting this really dark, grotesque portrait. And yeah, I honestly, it's one of my favorite books of all time. It's a top 5 book. It's possibly even in my top 3. I think there's just so much that is so good about this. And yeah, I want more people to read it and to talk to me about it and to say, oh, you were kind of right. It's not just a traditional science fiction narrative. There is so much going on. There's so much bubbling under the surface. And I say this is a wonderful standalone. I read it as a standalone, and I waited a full year before I picked up the second book, and I waited another year before I picked up the third. As an entire series, rereading or having read the entire series and then rereading this, I appreciate this so much more now because of how complex of a story it is, but how almost everything is like there for you in the first book. And just comparing the third and this one, I'm like, wow, like that was just so smart. It's so great. Character motivations are really, really clear. And also, there is supposed to be a fourth book coming out. I think it's going to be called Absolution. There is no set date for it, but I can't wait to be back in this world. I once again, I say, like, if you love that humid, environmental, otherworldly sort of fever dream feel, you read Paradise Rot, I say definitely pick this up and you will not be disappointed. The sentences are just as beautiful as sentences in Cold Enough for Snow. Like, they're fantastic. If you want to talk about this book with me, or you need me to further convince you to pick it up, please send me a message. Find me on Instagram and DM me, and I'd be thrilled to talk about this book. I bring it up in conversation constantly. I will randomly bring it up with my husband in bizarre conversations, and I'm just like, I appreciate this novel so much. I appreciate VanderMeer as a writer so much. And as a person, he's a wonderful environmentalist in Florida, and he's doing a lot of really great work. And he really just cares about the natural world, and he writes about it in a really thoughtful, beautiful way, through like a science fiction, speculative fiction lens, which is very, very cool. And not just like an essay lens, which we oftentimes see as nature writing, which is great, and I love that. But I think this is doing something really, really different, as all of his works do. Some people say this is like a very, like, obviously global warming type of story, and I definitely, like, you could definitely see that. It could be an alien story. It's some sort of otherworldly entity taking over a place, and what that could possibly do to the rest of the world or the country. There were some notes that I made. I underlined a lot of things in this book because I didn't the first time around, and I really regret that. But there's a lot of stuff about, like, phrases like colonizing thoughts, expanded in my mind, infiltrated my mind. It's like, what is happening to the biologist mentally and physically, to her body and her mind and her memory and her existence in Area X and her perceptions of it. The environment is impeding on her. It is encroaching on her. It is shaping what she's maybe seeing or maybe not seeing, what's real and what's not real. And this, the words colonizing, expanding, infiltrating, those are words for a mind feeling those things, but also the environment of Area X is also colonizing a land. It is expanding its borders. It is infiltrating an area. And it's just, the word choices in this are just so great, and it just really propels the story forward in a really incredible way. I feel like I gathered my thoughts on this a bit better today. So I know I read it before, but I'm going to put it in my end of the year favorites book. So you will hear me talk about it again in December probably. And I also started reading The Last Supper. I'm only on the third essay, so I don't have too much to say about it. I maybe will do another update later, but really enjoying it so far. It's very Cusk, and I'm loving that. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you have a good day. Hi everyone, I figured it was time to end this reading vlog. I have not finished My Brilliant Friend or The Last Supper. I'm decent ways into Last Supper. I will do more in-depth thoughts and reviews of these both at the end of the month, so in my March wrap up. The main focus of this vlog was definitely Annihilation, and once I got done talking about it, I realized like this was a fairly long vlog, and if I tried talking about these as well, it would have been just way too long. So I'm ending the vlog here. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. Remember to like this video, share it if you'd like to as well, and leave me a comment below, follow me on Instagram, and we can chat some more if you would like. And yeah, thanks for being here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and remember to take care of yourself and to always be kind. Bye.